August 8, 1963, the night-mail train went from Glasgow to London's King's Cross station, which was carrying 128 bags of old money that were on their way to the Royal Mint to be destroyed.
Jack Mills, 58-year-old, and his assistant, 26-year-old, David Whitby, lived the crime of the century, according to some newspapers. At 3 a.m., almost 8 kilometers from London, Jack Mills was driving the train and suddenly he saw a red signal. So he brought his engine to a stop. Of course, he thought it was unusual, but he just did it. Then his assistant, David, got out to walk to the emergency telephone, but David saw two men wearing a black balaclava. Suddenly, the robbers pushed him down on the ground and told him, "If you shoot, I kill you." So he just had to obey orders. While this was happening, one of the other members of the gang fastened the 10 sorting couches at the back of the train. When two men, later known to be Buster Edwards and Bob Wilch, climbed into the engine, one of the men hit Mills over the head and made him drive the train very, very slowly to Bridgot Bridge, where other gang members wearing balaclavas and army uniforms were waiting at the bridge with the land robbers. Finally, when they arrived, the robbers passed 120 bags of the old banknotes out into the darkness, and then they disappeared into the night. The robbery had taken a total of 24 minutes. Luckily, Jack Mills and David Whitby managed to survive the robbery.
The 120 mail bags contained 2.5 million pounds of vintage banknotes. Today, that would be about 25 million pounds, and at the time, it was the biggest robbery of all. The robbers stayed for a few days in a house called Pertslade Farm, and then left because the police discovered this place and where they began the search for all the train robbers. Roger Codry and Bill Cole were first captured. Then, at the end of 1963, Roy James, John Daly, and Charlie Wilson would be the next captured, and where almost 500,000 pounds were recovered. After many days of agreement among the jury, all except John Daly were found guilty and sentenced to approximately 30 years in prison. By 1968, Buster Edwards, Bruce Reynolds, and Jimmy White had already been captured. Some of the thieves escaped from prison, like Charlie Wilson and Ronnie Biggs, who went to live in Brazil, where he lives with his girlfriend Raimunda Castro and her son. In the end, Ronnie said that 4 thieves were never found.